Hi everyone, and welcome to another Goon Squad tutorial. My name is Zero, and I'll be your teacher for today. In this tutorial, we'll be discussing how to make clothes for the Snaggletooth Kobold avatar. It's by Orange Nova Avatars. This is my actual first full mesh avatar. Now normally I avoid these because when I want to make clothes for them, they require you to have a dev kit for it, and trying to get a dev kit from the creators is always like pulling teeth. They want you to fill out an application, have 200 items in your shop, send them a sample of your blood through the mail, and it's got to be, priority mail as well as they want it. So I've always stayed away from it and kind of registered mesh body creators as jerks because of this. But after speaking with the creator of this avatar, I realized that, they're not all jerks. Some of them can actually be nice. And it's because this guy was so nice that I decided to make this class and teach you how to make clothes for them. Hopefully they'll gain in popularity because of it. This tutorial will have everything included from start to finish to help you make clothes for it. Everything except for the blend file that you'll need, the dev kit blend file itself, because it says do not distribute. And normally I don't care about that and I would do whatever I want and distribute it, but the guy was such a nice person that I would feel bad if I gave it away after he said not to. So just contact the creator and ask him for it and he'll give it to you. No strings attached, no requirements. He just gives it to you. So that's the only file you won't get. But everything else, the Blender, the programs, the plugins, the scripts, everything else will be included. You just have to get the blend file from the creator yourself. Okay, I've gone well over my 1 minute of jabber, so I guess it's time to dive into the actual tutorial. So let's go into Blender and let's begin creating. So when you open up the blend file, you'll see the avatar, and it has everything, all its parts on the same layer. And if you watch any of my tutorials, you know I hate working with everything on one layer, so I always send parts over to the second layer or different layers so that it's a little more organized. But before we can even dive into that, we're going to have to activate something first. We're going to need to install a script that's going to help us in the rigging process later on. So let's dive and do that first. So you're going to want to go into the folder that I provided and get the script file. It should be, I guess, script.py or whatever I named it, but it's .py. And you're going to go to File, User Preferences, Install from File, wherever you saved it at. I have it in my documents, but it'll be in that folder that you download from me, and you're going to click script.py. Now I've already installed it, but when you see it, it will say remove unused vertex groups, and then a little box. So you're just going to check this box right here, check this box, and then click save user settings, and then close this. Okay, now that we have the script installed, we can move on to actual setting up for creation. So let's organize this file a little bit because it's kind of chaotic. The first thing I'm going to do is select the lamp and then press the M key and then move it, I guess over here in the far corner. Doesn't matter where you put it, just as long as it's on a different layer. That's just the way I operate. So the avatar is in different parts. Let's start by organizing them. I'm going to select the chest. And there's going to be a lot of breast settings. So for every one you click, we're going to send it to its own layer. So I'm going to put all of them over here on the right side. And I hope you do the same thing. So let's select the breast, press the M, and put it on first layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, and fifth layer. And then there should be a gaping hole in the chest. Don't worry about it. And we're going to find the groin. I'm going to press the M key and then put it down here. Do the same thing what we did with the boobs. And then we're going to do the same thing with the tail. If you lose track Anything with a dot on it is means that it's full. Another thing we're going to select is this right here. This is the second life skeleton. I'm going to press A, and I'm going to move it actually underneath the first layer. So now everything is the way I like it. Now we have to take care of the problem with them, everything being in parts. We can't exactly transfer the weights properly with it in parts. I mean, you could, but if you're making, but it's easier. Trust me, it's easier if you just join it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to press A and select everything, and then go to Tools and press Join. Or if you want, you could just press Control J, and that will also join it. Now this is the time you start customizing how you want the avatar to be. We're going to work with the, let's see, my avatar has the full bust, so the first layer, this one. So I'm going to hold the shift and select that and create what I have. And I'm going to press Control J and join that to this as well. You see, when you join it, it jumps over to the first layer, so you have that. Or if you want to, you just can press Control Z, go back a bit before I joined it. You can actually select the the joined avatar mesh and press Control or Shift D and make a duplication of it, and then move it to the second layer. Duplicate it again. Third, press M and move to the third layer. Duplicate again. 3, fourth layer, and again to the fifth. D, move to fifth layer, and we could just actually create a series of avatars with bust and join. A join. So we have a busty. Whoops, where is it? I think I moved it over here. Okay, so now we have a busty model. We can create not so busty model. And just go down the line and create our models. Okay, so you get the gist of this. Create as many or as little as you want. I'm just creating these just for the sake of doing it. So I'm gonna pause and I'll be right back after I have all of them joined. Okay, so I joined the bust and the kobolds together on separate layers. So we have different sizes. As you see, from all of that. Now we have, this is your choice now before you export it from Marvelous Designer, and this is whether or not you want to include your tail. I have a tail, I wear the tail, I think it's cute, so I'm going to include it. So we're just going to hold down shift and select the tail. Whoops, so that's not the tail. Alright, that's the gross tail. That's a gross tail. Alright, so we have the tail. We don't have to join this because, you know, we're not rigging anything to the tail, though you could, but I'm not. So we're going to select the tail, we're going to select the avatar, we're going to go to the front, and we're going to go to File, Export, Cloud a Day, at desktop, and we're going to make sure you use the Second Life OpenSim static, and we're going to say Snaggletooth Busty with tail .yay and hit it. Okay. Alright, now that it's exported, we can put it into Marvelous Designer and begin making clothes for it. Okay, now that we're in Marvelous Designer, we're going to import our Snaggletooth model. Let me just move this back over. Alright, and we're going to go to File, Open, Avatar. Let's see, where did I save it? Snaggletooth Busty with tail, and hit OK. And as you see, our little Snaggletooth is inside of MD. So I'm going to press new and get rid of it. Now, basically, clothes are just the same as you would. You can make clothes for it just as you would any regular Marvelous Designer avatar, but you have to take into account the tail. So what I mean is, if you make pants, you may want to have to get creative and make something around it. So let's make a basic swimsuit for our avatar, bodysuit, whichever, something quick. So let's take the polygon tool, like always, and just draw along the silhouette. The bad thing I don't like about this is that because the tail is right here, I can't accurately see where the crotch is. That's the one thing I don't like about creating an outfit for Avatar with a tail. So, if you already watched my How to Be a Marvelous Designer in Second Life, you know, the tutorial, everything still applies. Now we have the front, we're going to flip it and put it in the back. That's what I did here. And then we're just going to sew the sides together. Making sure to leave this armhole open. There's that tail getting in the way again. So I'm going to select it and pull it out. Make sure your lines are straight, no crooked lines. I'll check it up. Alright. Here, and make sure it's not twisted. Press start. It always goes through the nipples like so. I always just finish it out in Blender. And this is the part with the tail that I was talking about. So I have to adjust the pattern. Just switches. Forgot which one it is to select it. So I just pull this over. Well, that did nothing. So that's the problem you may have with the tail. So how do we fix this tail? So we're going to pause the simulation, and I'm going to rearrange the pattern right here, and we're going to adjust the pattern a little bit. I'm going to move it over to where it would simulate and pull right into the middle, and where the tail would possibly be, we're going to create, I guess, a dart. It's a lot faster than trying to create a hole. Now, I've never done this before, so in theory it should work, or it could tear and mess up. So let's see how it goes when we press play. It messed up, but there's a hole. So this time when we pull it over, the tail, it should start to go right through. And there we have it. Yay, success. And work out. So let's just pull this out in the front. Don't worry about the chest. We can pull that back in Blender. So I'm pretty sure those powerful nipples always shoot through the chest. Anyway, and Marvelous Designer. Every outfit I made for this so far has had that problem. So So I'm going to try closing the hole a little bit and making it a little bit tighter around her tail. Hopefully that didn't jack anything up. The rest would be nitpicking. So I'm going to, what is this? Change this a little bit. See his curves. Remember the golden rule of marvelous design or 3D in general. Whenever you feel like you're about to jack something up, save. So now would have been a good time to try to save, but I'm trying to mess with this a little more. Alright, good enough. We can pull the rest of it out. So now that we have our bodysuit / swimsuit all sewn up, let's export it and put it back into Blender. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to pull on that collar a little more. There we go. We're going to go to File, and then Export. It's OBJ. I'm going to save it to my desktop again. And we're going to name this bodysuit with tail. Hit Enter. Select only the cloth shape. Unified, remove triangles, collapse triangles 1%, and hit OK. Now we're going to go back to Blender. Alright, so we're back here in Blender. Now because of the height of the avatar, we're going to have to do a little bit more adjusting than we would normally do. Like when it's a human avatar, we would usually just press S and scale down. It fits right on top of it. But this is a little bit shorter than your standard human character. So if we were to do that, it'd be too small. So you're actually going to have to watch out when you're scaling it down. So with that warning, let's scale it down. So zoom out because it will be huge and up here. And you'll see your garment. You're just going to right click on it and then press S and then scale it down to size. This is what I was talking about. If we were to scale it all the way down to here, it would be too small. So it's somewhere in the middle. And I press G and try to put it back onto her. Of course, it didn't fit, so you're just going to have to play with it until it does. So I'm going to keep pressing S and scaling and G and moving it, or moving using the arrows to get it to fit. So you're not watching me fiddle with this for the next 20 minutes. Oh, wait, that may not even be necessary. Just a little bit. Okay, so once it fits on there, pretty good. Actually, I'm gonna tweak it with the nipples. We're showing it a little more. Alright, I think that's where it was. Alright. Alright, now that we have it set, we're going to rig it to the skeleton. So we're going to hold down the shift key and select the layer with the skeleton, which is right here. What is this? Layer with the skeleton, and we're going to go to the Avatar tab, select the bones first, and I like the octahedron giant diamonds as my bones. Alright, so select the bones, hold down the shift key, select the garment, and then press Control P. And whoa, that's different. Alright, select the garment, select the bones, press Control P, there we go, and select automatic weights. We're not going to use the Avatar one like we used to do. Shocking, yo. Alright, so now that we have it rigged to the custom skeleton, we're going to select the body again, hold down the shift key, select the garment, go to weight paint mode, and then tools, then we're going to transfer the weights and make sure it's to the nearest face. So let's select the bones again. This time we're going into pose mode and select the bones, and you can see that it moves pretty well with the avatar. You can do more weight painting on it if you don't like the way this looks. But, quick. Let me show you something. So, let's export it as is. So we're just going to select a garment, none of the other things. And I'm going to File, Export, and we're going to go Avatar Export. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. And I'm going to name this Snaggletooth .day and hit export. So let's go upload this into Second Life. Alright, I'm back in Second Life and I'm uploading my Snaggletooth. Reminds me of that movie, The Incredibles. Where's my super suit? Where's my Snaggletooth? And then press include skin weight. And I'm going to upload it. Remember, 0 zeros, and then upload it. Alright, so we're going to put this on. And as you see, it looks just like it did when we had it in Blender, except for this is happening. And what happens when we walk. So put this on. See, it's doing this. All this clipping. It's because we have too many weight groups on the garment. Now this is where that beautiful script that we installed earlier comes into play. So let's go back into Blender and correct this. So I'm gonna start walking and go back into Blender. Now we're here in Blender, and in Blender is beautiful, but Second Life is jacked. So let's fix that by selecting the garment, then selecting the object data button, which is like this Iron Man-ish triangle thingy here, and you're going to scroll down till you see this black arrow. It's going to be plus, minus, black arrow. Select the black arrow and then twist. Oh dear, I think I may have unchecked it. I think I may have broke it. So select that. Right there it is. Remove unused vertex groups. So we're just going to select that from there, and now let's export it. Export again. It's Avatar, desktop, Snaggletooth, and I'm Snaggletooth 2. Export. File. Upload mesh. Snaggletooth 2. That's 0, 0. Okay, now what happens when we walk? See? It's all fixed, just like it was in Blender. So that's how you make clothes for the Kobold Snaggletooth. And just as a little side note, not to guilt trip you or anything, I had to do this on the live grid, so I'm actually spending money to teach you bums how to make clothes. Be grateful. Okay, so now that we have the outfit in here, we can't just walk around with a plain white suit. We gotta texture it. So if you skipped over my baking with Goon Squad and how to texture with Goon Squad tutorials, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of it right now. So we have two options. We can create create a new window and UV editor. Now, but you're wondering, like, what about the seams? What about the UV layer? Well, when we were drawing in the 2D window here in Marvelous Designer, right here, we were actually creating a UV map. So whatever you draw here and however you have it laid out on here, that's how your UV maps will be when you go to export this out of Marvelous Designer. So make sure when you're done designing, you're creating, you come over to your 2D window and make sure everything is organized and looking nice. Make sure that the stuff doesn't overlap like this, or else they'll be overlapping when you export it. So make sure that your 2D window is nice and clean. Let's close Marvelous. So see, that's how it is. Now we can do one of two things. We can create a bake map, and we just create a new texture and call it baking sheet. Hit OK. And let's see, go here to world, ambient occlusion. I never knew how that is pronounced, so if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. I'm going to turn the samples up to 20. It was always a magic number. Go to render, scroll down until you see bake, and you want to bake the AO, and we're going to hit bake, and we'll wait for it to finish baking. This is the bake status up here, depending on how fast your computer is. You can hear mine dying, trying to bake right now. Yeah, that's how long it'll take. So let's wait for a second and pause it while it's doing it. Okay, so I finished baking. Whoops, seems I forgot to bring the nipples forward a bit. Wait, did that show up in world? Huh. I guess you can always just move the chest down, but if I was to have it fully up, then I think they would poke through. So I guess that's not a big deal. Alright, so back to Blender. As you see, I have a bake map I can put on here and use it for the template. We can, if it doesn't come out right, we can always rebake it, but this is just a quick tutorial, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to save the image. Save the image as my desktop baking sheet.png, and I'm going to either take it in world, Snaggletooth. I'm using local because I've already spent enough money today. So it's shaded that way. There's some more I could have pulled out there, but minor details. So shaded, and what else do we do? We can 3D paint it in Photoshop. Again, there's on our channel a tutorial on that, but like I said, start to finish. So let's open up Photoshop and bring in our, what's this, avatar? Where did I save it? Snaggletooth. This one. You just double click on Marvelous Designer, on the avatar, the garment, the day, and it opens up automatically in Photoshop if you have it registered for that. So pause it while it's loading. Okay. Alright, so here's our Snaggletooth, and it's got the big texture already on it. I'm going to double click on this. Oh, it doesn't, it's just gray. I'm going to move this up so you can see it better, or I have to lower this. Gotta lower it. Alright. Whoops. Alright, now it's set. I think. There we go. Alright, so before we can paint on it, we have to change the dimensions of the texture. Because Marvelous Designer, remember when we imported it in and it was huge? Well, it has a very huge UV texture for it. And I'm talking huge. So big that 1024 by 1024 is way too small for it. We have to up it up to 4000 by 4000. Yeah. And I think we should do the same thing. Let's bring this in, our baking sheet. Resize image. It's been so long since I did this. Image size, again 4000 by 4000. Select all, cut, take it to the material, paste in place, create a new layer, close this, hit yes. And for your computer to stop exploding, I'm going to close Marvelous Designer because I don't need it open. Nope. Close the baking sheet because I don't need that open. And now we have our texture on top of it, and we can just start painting as if it were a 2D layer. So that's how you do it. Mine's a little laggy right now because I'm recording, so I'm going to pause it and then draw something on here, and then we're going to import it in World. So 1 second. Okay, so I just drew, actually I just made it blue. I put blue underneath the bake map. And let's say you wanted to add decals or your logo or something to it. All you have to do is import it into Blender. Now select all, and we're going to use the free transform and transform it until it gets to the size that you want and where you want it. I'm going to something like that. Maybe here. And just deselect and then merge down. And there it is on here, right where I want it. And it's a little crooked, but you guys get what I was going for. So now we have the texture already done. You just select on the layer, press File, Save As, Normal Texture on the desktop, and name. I like to do it in JPEG. And what is this called? JPEG, and we're going to name it Suit Text. And okay. And don't worry about it being huge. Second Life will automatically resize it. So I'm going to drop my Snaggletooth down here again. Go to my textures. Take inventory, and you should see there's my clothes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you make clothes for the Kobold Snaggle avatar from start to finish. And you can do more to it, decorate it, get